it is impossible to know anything without belief in God. I know that's a bold statement, so let me explain. I'll start off here. Proverbs 1 and 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So, if the Bible, which I believe is the Word of God, tells us that the beginning of knowledge is the fear of God. So, without the fear of God, you cannot begin to have knowledge. Now, I'm going to flesh this out a little bit. Now, say you have two different dogs, and you get them from puppies, and your purpose for these dogs is for them to be guard dogs. So when you get them, you raise them to be guard dogs. Because you have these two dogs that you raise to be guard dogs, they have the ability to be either good dogs or bad dogs. If if one dog is good at being a guard and the other one is not, then one of them is good and one of them isn't. And so this all depends on whether or not they're good at the purpose that you have given them. So one dog might not like dog food, might only like table food. The other dog might bark a lot, but the other one might not. This won't change how good it is at being a guard dog. So the main purpose is being a guard dog. So this doesn't mean that they still don't have their own personalities and they still can't be different in many other aspects of life. But they will be either good or bad at their purpose. So this is what makes something either good or bad, being that it has a purpose. Now say these same two dogs were just wild, free dogs. Well, in this sense, there's no way they can be good or bad because they have no purpose. They're not supposed to be guard dogs, they're just simply free. One can run around biting people. That's not good or bad. They're just dogs. They do what they want. Maybe that helps them survive. Maybe that's what it likes to do. It doesn't have a purpose, so it doesn't matter whether it bites people or not. They can even get killed early. It doesn't matter. It's just an animal. You know, animals live as long as they want to live. Maybe it wanted to go. There's no good or bad because it has no purpose. So maybe you see where I'm going with this. This also goes for us. So how can we know what is good and what is bad if we don't have a purpose? So if we weren't made with a purpose by a creator who gave us a purpose and in himself is good, and him in himself has given us justice and has given us a way of knowing right and wrong and morals, if we're not created like this, then this means we're simply like that stray dog. We're just wild and we can do whatever we want. So if someone chooses to go around and kill people, well, hey, he's just like a wild dog. We're just wild animals. Remember, we're just germs that grew up to be, these weird monkey people or whatever we are. So you can do what you want. If you want to go around and kill people, I mean, who's to say that's right or wrong? Some people have done it in the past. You have whole societies of people that are cannibals. No one can tell them they're right or wrong, right? Well, I believe we all know better than that. I believe we know deep down inside that there is a right and a wrong. But in order for there to be an objective right and wrong, there has to be some kind of mind prior to the human mind. There has to be something outside of the human mind to give us that standard. Just like those dogs had to have a standard to either be right or wrong by. Now, one dog, if they were able to talk, one dog could tell the other one, "Hey, look, I know our master wants us to be good, but I don't want to do that. I don't believe I have to follow what the master says," and that's true. But there will be consequences. Pretty soon, that dog might be getting taken to the pound or be getting put down because he didn't want to follow. So this also goes with us. If we don't follow the plans of the Creator, that in the purpose that we have been given, then there are consequences for it. And I believe we all see that. Whenever we don't follow our moral compass that we have, and we don't do the things that we deep down know we're supposed to do, there always seems to be consequences. People don't treat us the same. things don't work out in life, and the whole system of the world seems to go against you when you go against your conscience. Now, this doesn't always happen. Of course, there are exceptions to the rule. There are a lot of people that do a lot of dirty things against their conscience, and they still end up coming up. But the more you read in the Bible, the more you get an explanation of this, and this leads you towards understanding that God allows a lot of people to do certain things for His greater good in the end, and for us also to understand that just like the foreign people, there are some people that are allowed to do certain things because this life is all they're really going to have. In the next life, that they will be being punished. So, have fun while you can. But back to the subject of knowing anything. Another example of things that we cannot know without God is simple things like the age of the earth. Scientists have changed over and over the age of the earth, and it will change again. Everything in science has changed because new information comes out, and you'll never know the age of the earth. You'll never know really anything. Things that they say about the body, they keep changing. Everything we think we know are constantly changing. So if we're not hearing from the Creator, then of course it's going to be something that we just think or we just have a theory on. So theory is just educated guesses, and we can do tests over and over. But as our tests increase, as our intelligence increase, our tests get better, our equipment gets better, our answers continually change. So, and though our intelligence might be getting better, and I actually wouldn't call it intelligence, I would just say our organization, because of time, has gotten better. If you have two kids in a room with just paper and a book, they might be able to figure out some things. But then you put the same two kids in a room with a computer, they can figure out a lot more because of the computer that was there. That doesn't mean that they're smarter because they're around a computer. It just means that they have more sophisticated utensils to use, and they have a broader range of things to search through, using this computer. So that's the same with us. It doesn't mean we're any smarter. Einstein lived years and years before us, but he was just as smart as us. He might not have had all the same technology. So we have to understand that we're not getting smarter. We just have more organization. We have more technology, and that's just because of time. So, getting back to the subject, we can't know anything without knowing that there's a God. So another example of this is laws. So if this universe is something that just came up randomly, just popped up out of nowhere, why do you know that it'll be here tomorrow? Or how could you know that it'll be here tomorrow? If it just popped up randomly, we don't even know for sure if it won't pop out of existence tomorrow. But deep down, I think we all know that it's not. We have a feeling that there's something that is holding things into place. And this is what the Bible tells us. The Bible tells that we're held together by God. A lot of scientists have come up with a rescue device for how things are held together, and they call this rescue device dark matter. And dark matter is something that they really can't measure, they can't see. They just know that there's no reason for things to be held in place as they are, so there must be something holding them together, and so they just made up something called dark matter. But the Bible tells us that this is God that is holding things together. So the more and more things that you think that you really know, you have to really examine if you don't believe in God. Because if you don't believe in God, you can't know that tomorrow will be the same as today. If you do know that we have a God, a mind that's holding things together, then you know that that tomorrow will be the same as today, because the Bible tells us that God is the same today, yesterday, and also after the flood, we've been given a promise that God will hold the laws of the universe together until the end. So we know that tomorrow will be just like today, because we have a God that cannot tell a lie. So if you really spend your time and think about it, everything that you really want to know, You cannot have a for sure answer to it. Everything is relative without a God. Whatever you think is right or wrong, if there's no God, there's just a human mind. It's just people. We can just say whatever I like is right for me, whatever you like is right for you, but it's not really right. It's just whatever you want to say. Just like the two dogs. So if we don't have um, if we don't have something governing the behavior of the dogs, then they don't have anything that they're really supposed to be doing. Just like us, if there's nothing governing over us, then there's nothing that we're supposed to be doing. There's no right, there's no wrong, there's no truth, even mathematical truth. If you believe 2 plus 2 equals 4, guess what? You don't know that for sure, because if our minds are just accidents, then we can't trust our minds. If we're made from a logical creator, then we know that logic is real. But if we are just made from an explosion of germs, and just like monkeys, our minds are not trustworthy, then we don't know if we even know for sure that we could be wrong about that, because we're not logical. But if we're made by a logical God, then we know logic is real. So when it comes down to it, in order to know anything for sure, there has to be a God. Something to think about.
Do take good care of yourself.